Okay, so this is experiment 2 where we're going to roll the car down the ramp. So we're going to be using the same car that we used in lab 1. Notice that I have the pocket lab taped to the top of it, and remember that there's a little hole here, that's the sensor, and I want to make sure that faces the front of the car. Now when we do this experiment, I want to be careful that this car, remember, if I pull it back, the wheel's wound up. And so I want to make sure that when I put it on here to roll it down the ramp, that I don't pull it to put any wind in the wheels. Or after it comes down the ramp, I want to make sure that the wheels don't get wound up. So the best way to do that is just to lift your car up, and as long as the wheels aren't spinning, you're good to go. Now I'm just going to do a trial run. So I'm going to set the front of my car at my start line, and I'm going to let it go and watch it roll. And so I can see that I'm acquiring some data when we go toward it. I noticed this little glitch here, and we'll see that again when I do it, and I'll explain what that is when we're going. So now we're ready to go. So I'm going to take my car. I'm going to hit record on my data. I'm going to put the car, I'm going to let it go and watch it go towards, and then now I'm done. Now notice we see the same little glitch here, and what's going on? Well, this little glitch is right when the car is coming off the end of the ramp. There's a little bit of a lip there. You can try to get rid of that by either cutting the box so it sits a little bit more flush, or in fact we don't really need to worry about it because we can always select the data range. So what I'm going to want to do is stay away from this particular point, and I'm going to want to select the range, and it's this range right here that is after the car has left the bottom of the ramp. Again, kind of this range right here. Notice I'm not taking the point when it gets flat because that's when the car is hit, and I'm not taking the point right before that because that could be affected by when it came off the ramp. So there's my data, and remember to analyze our data, we are going to fit to a line. And this value right here, the 0.9, is the velocity I'm looking for. And you're going to do 3 trials, and in your 3 trials, you take the average of that, and that will be your average velocity. And again, you're going to do that for the 3 different locations, the low location, the mid location, and the location near the top that's about 6.5 centimeters from the top. After this, you're going to do some calculations, and I do want to warn you that our theory of saying the potential energy becomes the kinetic energy assumes there's no other forces acting on the car. And in fact, there are. So when we ask you to do the comparison, we're going to have you calculate it 3 ways. And again, go back to the intro lecture, the background lecture I did. You're going to be wanting to compare the one that's where the potential energy is closest to the kinetic energy, but they might not be in perfect agreement, and that will be one of the questions you'll be asked later.